So it's cool that he can take that power and that technicality and precision that I know he's capable of and just distill it to a simpler version that works with a catchier, more accessible song. Again, this was their supposed biggest hit. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. Something About You is from Level 42's sixth studio album, World Machine, released in 1985. This was an international breakout album for the band, and it spawned one of their most successful singles ever, this song. In fact, it was the only top 10 hit the band had in the United States, and the title suggests it's probably a love song. Happy Valentine's Day. But I first heard Level 42 a while back here on the channel. I think a lot of people thought that was my first time hearing of Mark King ever. Not the case. I'd read his name in Bass Player magazine growing up. Always knew him to be a crazy, legendary slap pop player, but I just never heard any of his music until I first heard their track, Mr. Pink. I loved hearing that style kind of put in context with a full band. It almost reminded me of a Tower of Power on steroids. But without further ado, I'm going back to a younger iteration of the band, a live performance from the same year it was released. Here's Something About You live from Level 42. Kind of a weird note to end on, that phrase. Sound like we're in E major and it landed on the C. Hold on. I kind of expected to go. No, it's more resolved. Okay, cool tonality to start out with. Wow, he's got that bass so high. There's the C sharp. Gotta look at this shot for a second. Man, I've worn my bass high up. I play prog metal. You kind of have to. But that's real high. I mean, it's just completely tucked up in his armpit there. But I imagine kind of having seen him now, that's probably just a completely utility thing as far as ergonomics and that rapid slap he does, which he's playing fingerstyle here. I don't remember a ton of that in the last video. Mr. Pink had a really kind of crazy slap 16th thing. That was a fun first song to get into the band with, but this seems more ballady. And I always read in the comments, he's an amazing singer as well. He started on drums, so getting to see maybe more of that side here in the video. But just chord-wise, this kind of has a cool kind of tension to it. It kind of jumps to another mode, if you will. We're in E major. That's the implied tonality, but we land on that C. Then go to the D, which is out of the key. Because normally we have C sharp and D sharp. Now we just have C and D. So that would be kind of the flat major 6. So they're kind of doing that move there. It's a common move in a lot of songs. You're just taking the 6 chord and the 7 chord from E minor and putting it alongside the E major chords. It adds a lot of color. And then we're back in C sharp minor here a bit. Let me go back to about right here and let it roll. And those vocal harmonies, cool setup too, really dense. C sharp. Okay, right there, you can kind of see it. He's got I think that was gaff tape on his thumb, electrical tape. You guys flooded me with all the history on that he split his thumb open or something and got the $1 million thumb. I learn a lot from you guys when you provide these sort of trivia tidbits about certain bands and players. So I might have thought that was just from a single gig, like it happened that gig, but this was many years earlier, so maybe this was an earlier incident. He just out of caution, always had something around his thumb. I find that really unique to him as a player. Okay, going through this verse bass line here, real funky, real broken up. Leaving a lot of space for the horns and the synths and the other layers, and then as soon as it starts picking up here, maybe in the pre-chorus, you can kind of hear his notes elongate. Elongating bass notes after you've played something funky and more sparse and staccato always builds energy. I'm curious if he's going to go into some nutty slap stuff, but otherwise, this is still a fantastic bass line that honestly shows me a different side of him from what I thought he was, just slap and pop all the time. Okay. Down to B minor. The notes are open here. Oh, there it is. There it is. Wow. There is something about you, baby, so right. You know what? I'm actually going to swap my strap. I can't adjust this strap. It's kind of threaded through here. But I'm going to see if I can raise my bass up to that. Just try it. It's been a long time. Okay, I got a spare strap. This is about as tight as I can get it. I don't know if I can even get in here. Jeez. Okay, this is about where he has it. And it's pretty up in my armpit. But honestly, this is probably the most injury, or the least injury-prone position. You don't have to bend your wrist with a low-hanging bass. I know it looks cool, but it can lead to injury. Carpal tunnel, tendonitis. I mean, this is a well-documented thing over time. It can kind of strain those tendons. So this is more like kind of holding a baby, I suppose. And when you just rest your hand on the bass, your thumb is ready to go. So this makes sense from just a, again, functional utility standpoint. The fingerstyle part is what I would have to get used to. Okay, I'm going to roll the rest of the video like this and see if it feels any more natural. It's kind of cramped. Okay, down to the C sharp minor there. D major. B minor. And yeah, you can see he just seamlessly goes from fingerstyle, just puts his hand over here just a little bit. It's not this whole, shoulder position change. So you can and just almost do that, and that's it. Your thumb's already parallel. You don't have to twist your wrist. My wrist is very straight. You can see his there in the video too. It's completely straight. And he might hit the strings a little off center, but I think just this is the most comfortable way for him to do that style and seamlessly switch from fingerstyle to slapping. Got the Britney mic on. It's kind of cool too that he's opening his fingers. I don't remember quite seeing that in the last video, but he's kind of, I don't know if it's just a momentum thing, because a lot of people think slapping is pressing your thumb down harder or hitting the bass harder, but really it's about twisting your wrist faster to get that kind of bounce. And a good way to kind of counteract that swing is to throw your fingers out or kind of throw your hand out. You kind of get this flicking motion. I used to tell students a lot to pretend there's like a quarter on your knuckles and you're trying to like throw it as far as you can when you slap a note, and you kind of go, you're just kind of flicking it off. But it's a way to get people to think about turning their wrist faster, not hitting harder. So that might be his just sort of counterbalance weight, if you will. Dig it. I almost thought he was kind of strumming the strings for a second, but Hard to see from this angle. Pretty repetitive progression, not too hard to pick up. Wow. Something else to point out here too, I would expect him, kind of like in the last video, I remember when other instruments were taking leads, that's when he ramped up the bass craziness. And I've been talking about this topic a lot in recent videos. What does the bass player do when someone else is soloing? You can tell a lot about them and how they think. He's leaving a ton of space here, and it's kind of leaving that guitar solo just naked, honestly, out on its own. You can really hear it. Any sort of subtleties the guitar player does might be more audible, any of that expressiveness. So I like that he's actually getting out of the way here. It's not what I would have expected. Let's go into that. Just kind of hitting the downbeats. Main riff. Gives it that time to breathe the first 2 repeats or so. Now the bass line's building back up. Awesome. Cool little run there, you did. Great shots here. Oh, nice. It's catchy. That almost has that 16th note kind of feel his bass lines will normally have, really syncopated. And what a catchy melody. This is a classic example of just taking 3 or 4 notes, making it more rhythmic, letting the melody be interesting from the rhythmic side of things other than the notes. I think that's just E, D, B, and F sharp. But stuff like that is just catchy. First listen. Yeah. Just 3 or 4 notes. I dig that. You put the bass line under it. His slap just looks so powerful. And you know, I kind of commented earlier that he was parallel. I'm kind of thinking of that from the last video I saw. You know, he is kind of going, it's almost, see, normally when your bass is hanging low, you might want to slap more like this, because you have to kind of drop your arm down. My tendency is to kind of be parallel, just for accuracy reasons, and it also depends on your string spacing. More of that traditional 4-string spacing, you can get away with a little less of a parallel attack because you don't hit the other strings, but he's almost going back the other way, like this. So he might be curving the thumb out and just kind of getting the ball of the thumb to where the other parts of the thumb don't interfere, maybe for that more precise strike on the strings. I don't know. I want to watch this last passage again because he kind of alternates it. Sometimes it's a bit more parallel. Sometimes it's kind of curved back. And it almost might put his fingers in position because I thought I saw sort of a, you know, this kind of just strum thing there. It's quick, so I'm not sure. channel. You hear it right there? It didn't show it this time, but I think it kind of puts his fingers in position for that. What was that? Well, that was a really fun watch, and it was quite the contrast to what I remember from their song Mr. Pink, which I remember being a 16th note onslaught of virtuosic slap pop. So it's cool that he can take that power and that technicality and precision that I know he's capable of and just distill it to a simpler version that works with a catchier, more accessible song. Again, this was their supposed biggest hit. But you can still hear those glimpses of technicality poke through in really strategic moments to elevate the song's energy. But the seamless transitioning between fingerstyle and slap, almost keeping similar tones, just really great artisanship there as a bass player. Once again, happy Valentine's Day. Something About You. I think it was a love song, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. If you'd like to support this channel further, please come find us over on Patreon. I do full album breakdowns and I have bass lessons if you'd like to learn from me in that way. And if you're not subscribed, you enjoyed this, please subscribe. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one.